Konotop, Ukraine, 2026. Here, ordinary days were measured differently, by whether the power stayed on, how long the alert lasted, which window had finally been replaced. And then morning came anyway. Bread was sold. Children went out. Someone climbed a ladder to repair a wall. Someone watered the flowers. Life stubbornly continued. Oleksiy had learned the same arithmetic as everyone else. Charge the phones when there was power, keep water when there was water, know where the flashlight was. "Power's back," Maxim called. "For now. I'll live fast." At 53, Oleksiy could repair almost anything. The gate hinge remained unconvinced. Officially, Oleksiy repaired furniture. War had simply expanded the definition. People still brought chairs and cupboards. Now they also brought window frames, shutters, and damaged doors. A customer ran her hand over an old chair. "You saved it." It still had some life in it. Oleksiy had always preferred repair to replacement. By late afternoon, Oleksiy wanted only one thing: tomatoes. Then somebody said his name in a voice his memory recognized before he did. He turned. "Olena?" She stared at him. "Oleksiy." 34 years folded into a single breath. Then she looked at his hair. "You went gray." And suddenly he was 19 again. Konotop, 1991. Ukraine had declared independence only weeks earlier. Adults seemed to have endless opinions about what would happen next. Oleksiy and Olena were more interested in each other. She caught him staring again. "You know everyone can see you staring at me." "Good." At 19, Oleksiy believed the important things were already decided. They used to walk until Konotop ran out of streets. Then there was the Yezuch. They talked about parents, plans, and everything that seemed possible at 18 and 19. Then Oleksiy went quiet. "Why are you so quiet?" "I'm thinking." He wasn't. Their first kiss lasted perhaps 3 seconds. 34 years later, both remembered it as much longer. After the river, Oleksiy walked her home, though her house was completely the wrong way. At the gate, Olena looked down the darkening street. "You'll walk all the way back alone." "Worth it." She should have gone inside. He should have left. Instead, they spent another 20 minutes discussing absolutely nothing. By December, they had stopped pretending they weren't planning around each other. On December 1st, they joined their neighbors to vote on Ukraine's independence. Outside afterward, Olena asked, "What do you think happens now?" Oleksiy answered, "Everything." He meant the country, mostly. That night, more than 90% of voters had chosen independence. By New Year's Eve, the Soviet Union was gone. History arrived through the television while relatives argued, mandarins vanished from the table, and music began. Oleksiy pulled Olena closer. "Everyone's watching. Let them." Minutes later, a new year began in a newly independent country, and for one night they believed the future would be simple. It wasn't. By 1992, they loved each other and still had no idea what to do next. Olena had an opportunity beyond Konotop. Oleksiy had reasons to stay. "So what do you want me to do?" "I don't know." "Then call me when you do." He meant to. She believed he would. He waited for the perfect answer. She waited for the call. Pride did the rest. Back at the market, barely a second had passed. Olena was still waiting after teasing him. "You went gray." Oleksiy glanced at the silver in her own hair. "You didn't." She raised an eyebrow. Liar. And there it was. The same old rhythm somehow still intact after 34 years. They left the market with Oleksiy's tomatoes and Olena's errands forgotten. Then she asked if he remembered the river. He did. The Yezuch had changed. So had the path. So had they. You remember? You asked why I was quiet. You weren't thinking. Oleksiy laughed. Olena remembered too. Somehow that felt almost as intimate as being loved. They had been at the river long enough for Oleksiy to forget the tomatoes again. Then, the air raid alert sounded. Phones lit up. A fisherman packed his line. A mother reached for her child. People quietly turned toward shelter. "We really have terrible timing," Olena said. "We always did." For a second, neither meant the alert. The shelter gave them something neither expected. Time. No market. No river. Nowhere to go. Just 34 years of unfinished conversation. I waited for your call. I was waiting until I knew what to say. Olena looked at him. That was the problem. At 53, Oleksiy finally understood. She had never needed the perfect answer. She had needed him to stay. When the all clear came, Oleksiy assumed they would finally say goodbye. Instead, Olena invited the tomatoes upstairs. Soon he was cutting vegetables in her kitchen. "You still cut them too thick. You still supervise." Their hands touched, reaching for the same bowl. This time, neither pretended not to notice. Dinner became tea, and tea became 34 years. "That's my daughter." Oleksiy smiled. "She has your eyes." Then he showed her his sons. "Your boys look like you." They had not spent decades waiting for each other. They had lived. And when the photographs were put away, Oleksiy realized he wasn't looking at the girl he had lost. He was looking at the woman she became. By the time Oleksiy stepped outside, it was night. Olena came downstairs with him. For a moment they stood beneath the entry light like two people who had already said goodnight. They hadn't. She caught his hand. "Don't take 34 years." He looked at her. This time there was no perfect answer to find. "I won't." Then Oleksiy stood there, thinking. Olena knew that expression. She had seen it beside the Yezuch decades earlier. "You're thinking again." He smiled. "Not this time." And he kissed her. Not like he had at 19. This kiss knew time was not endless. Sometimes love asks only whether you are willing to use the moment you have. Oleksiy had once spent days waiting for the right words. At 53, he tried something new. He called the next morning. By afternoon, Olena stood at his gate. "You called?" "I said I would." Maxim added, "Before coffee." Olena laughed. She stepped into the life Oleksiy had built, not to replace it, only to see whether there was room for her now. A few weeks later, they had stopped discussing whether they were seeing each other. They simply were. After another night of broken windows, neighbors came out with brooms, plywood, and tools. Oleksiy measured a frame while Olena held the tape. "This counts as a date?" "I brought tools." Around them, glass was swept away and windows were covered. They kept showing up. The weeks that followed were wonderfully ordinary. Dinners, work, calls that happened. One evening, the power vanished halfway through supper. Nobody stopped eating. Lamps came on. Maxim claimed a charging cable. Danilo asked, "So, are we calling this serious?" Olena answered first. "I think we already are." Maxim grinned. Finally. Oleksiy looked around the table and knew she was already part of his life. Later, Olena's daughter came to visit. Oleksiy went with her to the station, even after Olena said he didn't have to. Her daughter hugged her, noticed Oleksiy holding the heavier suitcase, then looked back at her mother. "You look happy." Olena smiled. "I am." Oleksiy cleared his throat. "I'm trying to stay out of this." He was doing a very poor job. By the end of summer, they no longer talked about second chances. One evening, Oleksiy found Olena in his garden, arguing with a tomato plant. "What are you doing next spring?" She looked at him, then at the tomatoes. She understood exactly what he meant. Apparently planting tomatoes. Oleksiy smiled. There it was. A future, not forever. Just next spring. Sometimes that is enough. They never got the missing years back. They didn't try. They had children, work, losses, habits, responsibilities, and a country changed beyond anything their younger selves could have imagined. Still, there were calls that came, tomatoes to plant, and walks that did not need to end. This isn't the short way. I know. And this time, they took the long way home. Konotop would wake again tomorrow. There would be work to do, things to repair, alerts to listen for, gardens to tend, and plans to make without knowing what the next season would bring. History does not wait for our lives to become convenient, and apparently neither does love. Dear love, do you still exist? Yes, love still lives here.